Their names are Jim Elliott, Ed McCully, Pete Fleming, Roger Udarian, and Nate Saint. They were murdered in 1956, and I would like to tell you how and what their story is. For many of us, these are names we're not going to recognize, and yet their story, their contribution to the way the gospel keeps moving, the way Jesus keeps changing the lives of people in our world, I don't know how to put it into words what they've done for our world. Like I said, they were murdered in 1956, and what's really interesting is these men were given a heart for people who didn't know Jesus, and so they went into Ecuador, into the Amazon rainforest, and their desire was to reach a group of people, to reach an Indian population that had never heard about Jesus. They had established some good connections and everything seemed like it was going pretty well. And the next thing that you know, there's a man in the tribe who doesn't really care for these Americans, and he misleads the rest of the village with the intentions of these 5 men. And 10 warriors decide that they are going to take care of the problem. The Wudani were a very violent tribe at the time, and they speared these 5 men to death at their camp along the beach. Elizabeth Elliott, Rachel Saint, the wife of Jim and the sister of Nate, and some others decided, in an act of God's complete grace, to do what most of us would never do. Rather than be angry with these Indians, rather than just throw their hands up in the air and return to America, rather than be angry even at God, they allowed God to rid them of their anger and to forgive. And they went back into the rainforest, and they were able to convert dozens of these Indians to Jesus Christ. They were able to forgive just as God forgives us. And I think the beauty in all of these things is that when we give our life to Jesus, we are able to forgive as God forgives others. And that's what our world needs, maybe more than anything right now. We live in a world that is constantly holding people's sins against them. We're constantly keeping a record of wrongs in our culture. And yet the beauty of what Jesus does when he walks in is he hangs on a cross and he says, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. When you live for Jesus and you deny yourself in order to allow him to be your life, you get back far more than you could ever wish to have. So let me leave you with the words of Jim Elliott. He is no fool who gives up what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. You give up your broken life and receive a life that can't be lost, the eternal life with Jesus Christ.